Hey guys, good morning. We are on Sunday, week 6, day 3 of this Road Warriors programming. Today's our final day of this little cycle that we're doing, and ideally today we're retesting our 5K from week 1. So 5K is a 3.1 mile run. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But before we get there, just a disclaimer, please be smart about your surroundings. I know I've been talking about it later in the work, but I'm going to start out by saying that now. So please be mindful of your surroundings. Maybe many of you guys are wearing masks now or some sort of face covering. That has definitely been recommended. I definitely started doing that this week. So I just want to preface and say that it's a little bit different. We've been doing nasal breathing anyways, and I still would like for you today to do your run as a nasal breath. But if you are using that mask, just know that that still might feel a little bit different. It definitely did for me when I started. So if you need to dial it back a little bit, that's okay. Just note that in your journal that, hey, maybe this 5K today wasn't as fast, but I was a little bit more restricted with what my breath could actually be. So that's just that. I'll talk a little bit more in a second. But before we get there, for your run today, before we get into the run, I suggest starting with DROMs, just something to start moving, getting your joints loose, maybe some hip circles. I just was doing some torso rotations. Definitely recommend some leg swings too. So kind of the forward and back leg swings, but then also some lateral leg swings. I definitely like to hang on to something here to help with that. So about 10 of each of the hip circles, leg swings. I'd throw in some alternating toe touches too, right? So just start to loosen things up, bring it down into a calf march and go through some calf march here, right? Alternating back and forth, starting to get ready and starting to get loose. Our main warm-up today, though, is just going to be some extended line drills. So ideally, you guys are going to go through 2 times of each of these following movements. First, we're going to start with our good old-fashioned, my favorite phrase, tiptoe walk. So just walking on your tiptoes down, right? So that should definitely fire up your calves right away. When you're done with that, you can just kind of jog back, or you might just go right into your heel walks on the way back. So I would go one direction, toe touches, or tiptoe walk, and then jog back, or just bring that heel back and then go through that twice, right? So on your tiptoes and then on your heels. After that, everyone's favorites, we're going to the outside of your feet. So we're going to walk there. Then we're going to take it to the inside of your feet. So this is often where knees sometimes kind of knock in there, but just starting to wake up your feet, waking up the muscles of your feet to kind of get you ready for this run that we've got. So 2 times through each of those kind of basic movements. When we're done with that, we're going to start to make it a little bit more dynamic now. So we're going to go into that knee raise, or that figure 4, kind of where we're bringing our knee up out in front without letting the heel come back behind us and without letting the heel come way up out in front, right? So we're looking for kind of up out in front as we go through. Pick a distance, anywhere from 10 meters, 15 meters, something, to the next tree, whatever it is. A little bit of a distance, maybe jog it back, and then repeat that twice. After that, we're going into some butt kickers. So this time you're going to bring your heel towards your butt as you come through, right? Just kind of a quick turnover of your feet too. So as soon as one foot hits the floor, you're immediately kind of pulling up to get your heel to hit your butt. When we're done with that, we're now going to take it into a high skip. So with the high skip, if my left knee is coming up, my right arm is coming up. So it's kind of opposite to get some distance here, or some height here on that, right? Same thing, maybe about 10 meters, 15 meters to that distant tree, and then jog back twice through that. From there, last little line drill is the karaoke. So that's the kind of front and back. I'd suggest maybe that first one, just moving a little bit slow to get the movement, and then you can dial it in, make it a little bit quicker as you come through. So extended line drills today. If you feel like you need more, then maybe you're adding a 3rd round of it, but I think you guys should be good with 2. Then we'll get into our running work. So our running work today is our 5K run. 5K run, 3.1 mile run. We did this in week 1, so there is the goal to try to be a little bit faster than what you did in week 1. But as I was mentioning at the start of this video, if you are wearing a mask over your nose and your mouth, know that that can affect you today, and that will most likely slow you down a little bit, and that's fine. You're still getting your fitness on. And you're being smart about your safety, and not only your safety, but the safety of others. So I will take that any day over any sort of PR. So if you are measuring against what you did in week 1, I strongly encourage you guys to try to use the same route, provided that that route is safe and less populated. The other thing I will note, looking ahead at the weather, I'm filming this on Saturday. It was beautiful today. Sunday doesn't look quite as beautiful unless you go out really early. So if you need to postpone this till Monday, or that's fine as well. Again, it's not the end of the world. This is your workout. So you make it what you want it to be and what you need it to be too. So that is definitely out there. To finish out, cooling down, once you're done with your 5K, and if it's not feeling great, slow down and walk. If you guys followed me on Instagram recently, I shared a story about how my running experience, I had to call an audible and change things up. That happens as part of it, so it's okay. It's okay. When you're done with your run, to cool down, keep walking, 3-minute walk to cool down, and then we're going to take it into our world's greatest stretch. So from the tall plank position, I'm going to bring one foot up to the outside, back leg. I'll try to keep it straight for today. We're going to bring our elbow down in towards our instep, and then we're going to rotate out to the side. So a few pass-throughs, and maybe even holding for a count or 2 at each end range. If you're feeling beat up, definitely okay to drop that knee. From that runner's stretch, we are then going to take it into, or from that world's greatest stretch, we're going to take it into the runner's stretch. So the knee comes down, we're going to shift back, try to flex that front toe towards your face. And then from here, we're actually going to add a little windshield wiper here to the side. So just rotating back and forth, keeping your hips high instead of letting it sink all the way down. So stay high here. The front knee, depending on how flexible or how tight you are, might have to bend a bit. That's a-okay. Maybe over time, you can work to straighten that out as you come through. So we're going to go through that. When we're done with that, we'll go into our figure 4 stretch. I'll come to standing, but you can definitely do this laying down as well. So I'll bring, say, my left foot up over my opposite knee, my right knee, and then from here, I can sink back. If you're a little wobbly, find a wall, find a tree, sink back into this, just getting the stretch. Maybe even you can add a little bit of assistance pushing down on that opposite knee, just above the knee. Don't try to grab right on the knee to push it down. And then finally, a little pigeon pose action. So we've definitely seen this before here, bringing your knee behind the wrist, and then you can kind of sink back into it. So again, depending on how tight you are, you might have to keep your hips a little bit high. I'd try to encourage you to untuck your toes, so get the top of your foot down, and then from here you can kind of sink down. If you're feeling good, maybe you come down to your elbow, maybe even you get your forehead down, but it's okay to lightly support yourself up here. So with those 4 final movements, ideally you're accumulating about 2 minutes in each of those, 2 minutes maybe even per side if you have the time, but at least spending a little bit of time in each one of those just to finally cool down. That's it for today. We're going to look to start something different this next week in what would be week 7 or week 1 of a new cycle. Leave any questions, comments, and feedback on the blog, and I'll see you guys soon. Good luck. Have fun.